Hello, guys. You're welcome to another episode on the Diary of a Winner here on the Moneytical School of Money podcast. My name is Obi Crypto, as you already know. And the topic today is a high income skill versus a university degree. It's something I've discussed on another podcast, but I want to bring it here on the Moneytical podcast because, what we do here is we talk about money and we show you the way to go about making money. So, guys, right here with me on the studio, I have Mr. Melafia here with me in the studio. He's a successful entrepreneur and somebody who have achieved a lot for himself. And today, he will be joining me to discuss this topic. Mr. Melafia, high income skill, university degree, which do you believe in?
High income skill, of course.
And why do you believe that?
Now, I am not trying to downgrade the place of education. Education is good, quite all right, but education is relative. And it all depends on how we define education. Now, you cannot tell me that someone who can successfully run a business is not educated because he has not been to the four corners of a university or rather any high institution. Of course, you can't say that. I believe literacy, we shouldn't mistake literacy for education. It's good for you to be literate. It's good for you to know how to communicate and deal with people, know your numbers very well. So that's the basic literacy one need. So, but when you're talking about a university degree or a high institution degree compared to a high income skill, I believe most of the people, especially in Africa, go for high institutions because they feel it will give them a high income. So if you know a better way of getting it, why won't you go for what you believe or what you want from the word go? Why will you have to beat corners before you get there? Now, if you look at our high institution, the other day I was discussing with a friend and we took a rough statistics from our head. Nigeria as a case study, we have 36 states with the federal 36 states with the federal capital territory, making 37. Now, each of these states have at least, government will have at least 3 degree awarding institutions. 3 degree awarding institutions and their equivalent. When I say degree, I mean maybe a HNDO degree and their equivalent. So when you multiply 3 by 36, how many do you have?
That is roughly 100.
Roughly 100.
Over 100 plus.
Now, let's assume that in each of these high institutions graduate a minimum of 1,000 people annually. But I know they are far more than.
More than.
Because I attended a matriculation at the prestigious Ahmadu Bello University, and the people that were convocated, rather, attended a convocation. And the people that were convocated alone from the postgraduate were close to 20,000 or 10,000, one funny figure like that. Not with undergraduates, a huge number. So all I'm trying to say is let's be fair enough to say that each of these institutions will graduate 1,000 graduates, will produce 1,000 graduates annually. So when you multiply that by 100, every year it means you're graduating 100,000 graduates. And where's the workforce?
How many thousand jobs do we provide?
That's the question. How many thousand jobs? Where do you expect them to put their head? So definitely, I believe people with high-end skills and entrepreneurs are the saviors of Africa and the saviors of the whole world. Why? Because unemployment is not an African thing now, it's a global thing. Yeah, you have a lot of people who are in the Western, but ask them what are they doing to survive. A lot of people that have japared to other Western countries, but ask them what they're doing. They're doing menial jobs. Their certificates are not working for them, most of them.
Okay, let me ask you. You now, are you feeding from as an entrepreneur, or you are feeding from the job you got with your university certificate degree?
Beautiful. Now,
which is paying you more?
Now, as a matter of fact, the job I have with my university degree is automatically more of a side hustle.
Wow.
Yes, it's more of a side hustle. Because if you ask me this truth, apart from buying food, I don't know what I do with that money. That's the plain truth. Apart from buying food, I don't actually know what I do with that money. I don't care whether they pay or not. And that's another point I want to make. I always encourage people when I meet them. Gone are the days where they will tell you, you don't have to work for anybody. There's that. Yeah, it's good to be independent, but we have to bear in mind that no matter who you are, you have to serve somebody. You have to serve somebody. It's a fallacy that this generation have believed that right from the word go, they will have to work on their own. Even in trying to get a high earning skill or trying to learn a high earning skill, you need to work under somebody.
Yes.
So you cannot interchange that with the place of discipline. So a lot of people will want to learn a high earning skill because they feel they can evade discipline, but it's never the case. So coming back to what I want to say initially, if you have the opportunity to pick a day job, pick it. Pick it. There is an island. I watched a documentary today on an island that is somewhere close to Netherlands. I think that they don't have day, they don't have night.
Yes.
That's the mindset. That's the mindset people should have here in Africa. I asked someone, I said, why will you be closing by 9 p.m. or 10 p.m. when if you find yourself in a developed country, you're willing to work for 23 hours? Why won't you do the same in Africa?
So you can earn more.
Yes. Why? Who told you that you must sleep by 10? You can sleep anytime. If your goal is to achieve the 8-hour sleep, you can share it. Maybe take 3 hours during the morning, 2 hours in the afternoon, whatever works for you. Achieve your 8 hours. But look at the time that you'll be more productive and the time that will earn you more money. Then go ahead and do it. So I think a lot of people, the twist here is a lot of people will want to pick a learning a high earning,
high income
skill over
the
university degree because they feel they will want to evade the place of discipline. But it doesn't work that way. Of course, anybody in his right senses will pick high earning skill over a university degree over and over again, because even the people at the four corners, even the academic, those that are at the peak of the academic pyramid, at the peak of the academic pyramid, they are doing that because why do university professors go on strike? Because they want high income.
Yes.
That's the reason why do ASU go to strike on and on? Because they want high income. So you can't take that away. But as young people, what we must always bear in mind is that cannot take the place of discipline.
But I want to ask you a very tricky question now. Very tricky.
Go ahead.
If given the chance, or maybe somebody places the magic wand in your hands right now to turn back the hands of time, right? Back in your beginning, would you prefer to still go through the university degree or go learn a high income skill and move on with your life? Because right now, yeah, you're a university graduate, you have a degree, fine. But like I said, if
what will I do differently?
If I to take you back,
yeah,
what would you do?
Yeah, like saying what will I do differently 10 days ago?
Yeah,
I wouldn't go to the university because the universities are nothing but incubators for hashing unemployed youths. That's exactly it.
I guess no wonder Rockefeller said he said, I want to build a nation of workers, not a nation of thinkers.
Exactly. So it's nothing but an incubator of hashing unemployed youth. They're truly unemployed. Because if you have a company, right? If you're to base your employment on degree certificate, I bet you will hire monkeys. Hire monkeys. If you're going by class of degree, you end up hiring someone who studied electrical and electronics but does not know the difference between a diode and a transistor. Yeah. Because all they did was read books to pass.
Yes.
And some even pass in ways I can't mention.
Exactly.
Yes. So, but when you're on the field of learning a high income skill, what you know will pay you. So you know your life depends on it. It's either you know it, you learn it, or you're screwed.
Yeah.
So in the first place, you can't even compare the two. So coming back to your question, I won't look at that. I have 2 children, a boy and a girl. Meet me in the near future and ask me, none of them will go to the university.
I was about to ask you that question about your children, but now that you've said it yourself, please elaborate. Why? How?
None of them will go to university.
None of your children will go to university.
None of them will go, except if they want to.
Please, why? Can you explain? Because I really want people. This thing you just said now has caused a lot of argument between me and a lot of my friends.
Yeah.
I told them, I said, for me, my children will not go to the conventional institution. You understand?
Yeah.
Except for those that want to go, maybe those that are born. My plan is to have just 4 kids after all. But except for any one of them that I discovered right from time that this one is blessed with the gift of maybe medicine, health, that one, you have to go to school to be a doctor.
All right. Now,
Right? I'm coming a medical doctor.
Yeah.
Then maybe another one has the gift. Maybe I see, this one is going to do well being a lawyer. Right? You will have to go to school before the society will recognize you and call you to bar to be a lawyer. But anything outside that, bro, my children are going to conventional, vocational school, not the conventional mainstream institution.
Yeah.
You understand? So you're saying this nice as if you're taking me back to that argument. And please, I want you to, it's as if we're aligning just unexpectedly, but I would like you to, speak more on this topic.
Good. Now, Makwe said none of my children will go to the university. But except if, sometimes kids will want to do a different thing while you will want them to do. Yeah, we have fought with our parents who aren't growing up on issues like that. Of course, I will allow them to have their will. But for me, none of my children will go to the university. And I give you my reasons. If you look at the settings, ask yourself, what are the schools? What are the universities the children of the very wealthy, the super wealthy attend? And what are the courses they study? Is a poor man child that studies medicine because he feels an automatic empowerment? But a rich man kid will go to Harvard, take some certificates, and come back and coordinate all the doctors that are from poor family to open the most sophisticated hospital. So if you can hire brains that can do far better than what your brain can do, why will you suffer your brain?
Same thing Elon Musk is doing.
Why would he? You can hire the best brains. I give you an example with Innocent. You don't want to hear Innocent. You don't want to engage him in certain things. But when it comes to productivity, you have to give it to him.
Yes.
Do you know how many professors are in his payroll?
Innocent vehicles.
Do you know how many professors are in Dangote's payroll? He's not a PhD holder.
Yeah.
You don't want to know his... Of course, I know time to time because I've been following him closely. I know time to time he goes to Harvard for certain certifications and brief courses, which is very important in order to stay at par with how the world is revolving.
Societal changes.
Yes. It's very important. But none of his children, he had 3 females. Halima, Maria, and I forgot the name of the other one. They all study administration. None of them studied rocket science. No. And they're doing pretty well. If they want to start a rocket space industry in Africa, it's feasible with the connection and the money their father.
Yeah.
So when you see people, and the funny thing is misplaced priority. You see in Africa, a child who is growing up who wants to break free from poverty. When you ask him what he wants to be, he'll tell you an engineer. Engineers don't become super rich.
Yes, engineers are in the factory working while the rich man is at
The rich
home.
man studies administration. And you don't have to stay 4 years to study administration. He studies HR. You don't have to stay 4 years to study HR.
HR.
How to manage people. They manage the most important things. That's human beings. And
Let me add something to what you are saying. I was watching a podcast somewhere where one philosopher, he said, the problem with poor people is that they have been indoctrinated to believe that studying the societal open courses is what is going to liberate them from poverty.
Different.
But it keeps them within that society that the elite wants them to stay.
No.
He said that, are you aware that 90% of all the billionaires in the world, they have one particular course that all of them goes to study.
Yeah.
And that course is philosophy and psychology.
Definitely.
Human philosophy and human psychology.
Definitely.
They go to study courses that will teach them how human beings think, how humans behave. Now, when they study that course, now they come back in their fat living room. From there, they know exactly what to do, what next move to take, that the whole society will come and give them their money. That's the reason why they said, if you collect all the money from all the richest people in this world today and give it to the poor people, he said, in 50 years' time, the money will move back from those poor people back to the rich people.
I think 50 years is too much. 50 years is too much. I will say, if I'm very liberal, I will say 2 years.
Wow, that isn't that too aggressive. So,
haven't you heard of guys who win lottery and the next minute they are poor?
yeah, it's true, actually.
So Actually, a poor man have a different mentality when it comes to money.
To money.
He knows the assignment of money as a tool to meet his own needs, while a rich man always sees money as an instrument to produce more money. So they see money in two different lights. So they are not in the same category. I think the first step towards liberating African youths from poverty is a shift in mindset. What is the salary of the highest paid doctor in Africa? Check the Forbes list. From 1 to 100, you won't see a practicing doctor. You won't see it. You won't see it. I believe, I'm not trying to look down on medicine. We need them. We need them very well. We need engineers very well. But high income skill, I think is far way out of reach. I'll pick street education over medicine.
Street education?
Yes, I mean, no, this.
That one is new for me.
Yeah, like normal street sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll pick it over medicine.
Wow.
I'll pick it. Like normal,
Yeah.
made a new wrong you street, that kind.
Street credibility.
God bless you. That's the word. So I'll pick it over medicine. Why? Because I know my mission is not to save lives. My mission is to make money. So what do I have to do with hospital? When I know the streets will teach me how to make money.
All right. At this point in time, I want to ask you, right? You have spoken so well about somebody getting a high income skill or a high income knowledge or expertise. It could be in psychology, it could be in philosophy, it could be in administration, or whichever one that you have. But if you don't mind, I would like you, can you just give us like maybe top 3, top 4, top 5, depending on how many you can think of right now, high income skill that you think people who want, smart people who want to be in the top 10% in the next 10 years or by the end of this decade, because this decade we're ending in 2030. We're in 2025. That means we have 5 years out of this decade from 2021 to now. So the decade ends in 2030. So we have 5 years to go, right? So those who want to be within the top 10%, right? What are those 3 important or top 4, top 5 areas of life of human existence that you think they should focus on?
Good. Now, most importantly, I think first of all, no matter what you learn, if you don't change your mindset, you'll be where you are. Because sometimes talent and knowledge is not just enough. Yeah, you'll meet quite talented people that are very more knowledgeable about certain things, and you'll wonder why they are where they are. Mindset. So if your mindset is not changed, no matter what you know, you remain where you are. Now, secondly, before I come to, I'll still list those things you asked for. Secondly, I will say environment matters a lot. Because you can still have a growth mindset or a positive mindset or the right mindset for growth. But if you're in the wrong environment, you can only go as far as the environment permits you to go. You understand?
Yeah.
Right? Because no matter how big your bucket is, no matter how big your drum is, if you get to a cup to fetch water, you can only fetch the contents of the cup.
Yes.
You can't fill that particular bucket. So, but when you get to a river with that bucket, you fetch more than enough. So sometimes what is tying us down is our comfort zone. We are afraid of exploring. Probably you will learn the skill that the globe needs, but you decide to stay in your local environment because you're thinking, I don't know anybody in Lagos. I don't know anybody in Abuja. I don't want to go to Onitsha because I can't speak Igbo and stuff like that. Guy, you have to move. You're not a tree. I think that's another factor. Now, coming back, when you get all these things right, coming back to other things I feel you should align with if you really want to be among the first top few in the near future. First, I will want to see AI, artificial intelligence.
Very important.
Very important. Artificial intelligence is everything. I think a lot of people are losing their jobs
because of
artificial
intelligence. Yes, people.
Now, we're in this studio, and I am so impressed to know that the whole person controlling everything we're doing is one person. But then you need to have a crew. That's what they call it.
Yeah.
You have a list of names.
Yes.
This person is doing this person. Well, someone is just sitting down, probably over a cup of juice, sipping it and pressing one button or pressing the other and controlling everything. And at the end of the day, you have a perfect result.
Yeah.
Artificial intelligence.
Yeah.
So I think that's the number one. Second, you're either blessed with it or you're cursed without it. That's crypto. Crypto is the future. Crypto is
Artificial intelligence, crypto.
Yeah, crypto is the future. I so much believe that. So much believe crypto is the future. We can only fight it for now. We can only try to suppress it, ignore it, neglect it for now. But come on, we'll come back to it. And I think a lot of people who are future minded are positioning well and doing the right things to make sure that they tap into that industry. I also believe that crypto will not be as accessible as it is now in the near future.
In the near future.
Why?
Which one?
Do you know the cost of printing a monetary note? It's, if you look at it very well, you realize that it's actually making economy and economists look stupid. Because the last time I checked, I'm going to use our currency, our local currency, for instance. The last time I was told, I asked somebody who works with the central bank minting and printing and minting department, and I asked him, why is it that coins are not in circulation? And he told me the cost of producing 1 naira coin is around 150 naira.
You spend 150 naira
to produce 1 coin.
to produce 1 naira.
1 naira coin. So how stupid is that? So you don't want to talk about other denominations. You don't want to know how much it costs. And that's the reason why government is encouraging cashless policy and the rest. But what about exchange rates and a lot of paperwork and a lot of things? Crypto is solving that on a platter of gold. So whether you like it or not, crypto is the future, because these generations that are coming are generation that question everything. So definitely to get to a point where they would literally come out to say, these local denomination notes are useless. And they'll come out with valid points. And we can't fight it. We just have to align. It's already happening. And it will continue happening. So that is the next thing I feel. Then the third most important skill is human management skills.
Yeah, that is HR.
Human management skills. I went to university 2002 for my first degree. And I did a course I've not applied for because I want to be in the university. So after that, I came out, I have to take another degree, engineering related. And after that, I still realize I'm still revolving within the same cycle, having that mentality, okay, this profession, then they get money. So I try going there to make the money. And on getting there, I realize I'm still wrong. So I did a master's in material science and explosives. But right now, I'm a student of business management and administration. That's MBA. I'm taking an MBA. And honestly, I'm regretting the reason why. I'm seriously regretting why I didn't take that step in
right on time.
If I know one thing I'll do different from now, if I'm studying any course, it will be human-related courses, my human management courses.
So if I get to right, we have number 1, artificial intelligence, number 2, crypto, number 3 is human management. So
when you control the human beings, you control everything.
So guys, anything you're doing, you're looking for a high income skill in the area of artificial intelligence, AI. You're also looking for anything to do with cryptocurrency, either as a blockchain developer, cryptocurrency developer, cryptocurrency cybersecurity expert, and all that, right? Data analyst and all that, especially in the blockchain industry. Then also the last one, you said human management.
Yes. But Obi now will want to add something. Now, when I say AI, I know a lot of people will want to argue, okay, we cannot live without food. What happens to agriculture and the rest? The guys that make chunks of the money are not the guys that soil their hands in the field. And the guys that produce sophisticated infrastructure that are AI driven to cultivate the farms.
Yeah.
Because right now you see farms, I've been to a farm that when you stand, you can't see the beginning from the end, no matter how hard you try. So what they do is they fly drones to water the plants and apply fertilizer.
Yes, I've seen that.
With precision,
yeah.
Those drones will fly and they will drop fertilizer and the required quantity of water every plant needs directly to the root of that.
They call it smart agriculture. That's what people do. They are having smart homes now. Good. Now we have smart agriculture.
Beautiful. Yes. And the guy controlling it, I didn't see the guy. Probably I don't even know the office the guy is seated. I was just on the farm field and I was looking at this endless green, beautiful land. Now you have another person who will tell you agriculture is the future, who is in the village, who will use cows to plow his land and buy bags of fertilizer to apply, bending his back, For how long will he do that, and how much can he produce? So no matter how you twist it, AI is the future. When you talk about medicine, the same thing.
Yes.
Now there's what they call nanotechnology.
Yes.
And they do surgical procedures with precision
Yeah.
without cutting open a human being.
Mm.
They do it using AI.
Yes. Yes.
We have a lot of industries that are AI smart,
Yes.
whereby you see work that you have. I've been to an industry here in Kaduna. I don't want to mention the industry, but I went and I realized their unloading and offloading and packaging has been taken over by robots. Have a robot packaging
smart machines.
God bless you. Doing everything with precision. That robot will not tell you he's sick. He will not tell you he has a pregnant wife. He will not tell you he can't make it to work because his grandfather died. Without complaint, he's there to serve you endlessly. So, there's always room at the top. People keep shouting there is no employment, there is no. You don't have the skills
to fit in yourself.
No, yes. If you have the skills, there are a lot of endless opportunities. So that's why I talk about mindset in the first instance.
Wow, that's powerful. I've made myself, I think my mind has been sharpened on the topic we have discussed today. One last thing I want to say here is, what advice would you have for parents, right, who feel that conventional courses, I know we've talked about this a couple of minutes ago, but I still want to bring it back. What advice do you have for parents who feel, because maybe they are not graduates, or maybe they didn't go to school, as far as they are concerned, their children must go to school? Especially considering the fact that we are in an era. I made one post one time on my Facebook that should be, although the Facebook account, I don't know, they hacked that account and I lost that account because it's a very old account. Imagine an account I created in 2007.
It's quite old.
It's quite old. They hacked into that account. I made a post in that account. I said, in 25 years' time to come, because it takes 25 years to have a new generation. So I said, in 25 years' time to come, that 50% of the jobs that will be available for our generation have not yet been created by now. I don't know if you understand it.
I get it, and you're quite true.
I made that statement in 2019. I said 50% of the jobs that will be available in the next 25 years have not been invented or created as of now. Now, I made that post in 2019. As of 2019, nobody knew anything about artificial intelligence. Not that
only few.
Yeah, only few. It wasn't a global societal trending issue or matter, as the case may be. You understand? When I made that statement, that 50% of the jobs that will be available in 25 years' time are yet to be created. Now look at what the AI industry have done. It has created a new landscape entirely. A new department, a new faculty, a new course, a new career, a whole new structure or streamline.
We don't know where it's taking us to.
And we don't even know where it's going.
It's just that crazy.
So what advice do you have for parents who are still
having that mindset,
deluded with the mentality of where we are coming from, instead of thinking futuristic of where we are going?
Good. Now, the truth is, those parents can't give you what they don't have, because each generation comes with a trend. Once that trend is over, it's over.
Yeah.
There was an era where agriculture is the order of the day. In fact, Stone Age, what was the order of the day in Stone Age was hunting.
Yes.
Then man decided to settle down, and he realized hunting can no longer feed his family. So he tilts towards cultivation, agriculture. He domesticates animal and he cultivated land. Gathered. At a point, westernization entered Africa. Then it became industrialization. Now everybody started leaving the village to the cities to work in industries so as he can earn big. Then it came the educational era, where people go to work so that they'll come back to be the captains of those industries. Now it keeps evolving. Now the unfortunate truth is, in African setting, most times we have parents who believe they know more than the children.
Yes.
That's the problem.
That's an African mentality.
It's an African mentality. They believe, I gave birth to this boy.
You know better.
So I know better what will serve him than him himself. But what we don't know is the information youths that are younger than us have in their fingertips is different from the information we have.
We have. Sure.
We can't debate that.
Definitely.
Then you can't imagine the the distance, the gap between them and our aged parent. So the truth is, I keep telling even my parent, I tell them time to time that our generation is different from yours. What has worked for you is no longer working now. You can't tell me to go to school and rely on my pension after picking a government. That's if I am fortunate to pick a government job.
Yes.
You can't tell me to rely on my pension because the pension is no longer what you used to know.
Exactly.
Then, 17 naira can buy you more than a bag of rice. Now, 17 naira cannot buy you bottled water.
At all.
At all. It cannot. So, things like that. So, the advice I have for parents is I feel you should listen to your children and get adults that are more exposed than you are. It's not all about your ego. It's not, nobody's competing with you.
Yes.
Nobody's competing with you. It's about having a generation that are better than your own generation. It's not about proving a point that I've not been to school by hook or by crook. And funny enough, this brings me to this point. That is the reason why when you go to school, you still have people studying history for 4 years. Studying history.
It's true.
You still see them. Now, history are things that you can decide to pick a history of whatever and study it in less than 6 months. And you know it very well.
Yes.
Why will it take you 4 years to study?
History.
That's too much time to waste. Studying what you are very sure there is nowhere you can.
In a Nigerian setting, you're not even sure of ASU strike plus the 1 year compulsory NYSC.
Can you imagine? But they are there and somebody is funding that. The person will pay tuition fee, send materials, money for materials, send money for feeding because he wants his son or his daughter to wear khaki NYS. And he will tell people,
my son is a graduate.
By the special grace of God, I have 2 graduates. So it's far beyond that. It's far beyond that. That is no longer obtainable. It doesn't make sense. So the advice I have is, kids, parents, I feel it's time you listen to your kids. That's the truth. Things are fast changing. What you knew yesterday is not in vogue today.
Yeah.
It's not. The world is fast changing beyond how you can ever imagine. So most times, and no matter how hard you try, you can't know as much as they do.
Yeah.
So the best thing you can do is offer guidance, but seek people who are in that industry who know better to help you coordinate them and give them the discipline they deserve to excel in that particular field. So honestly, if I should be the president or if I should have a say in this country, I will close down most of the high institutions. I'll close it down. Yes.
And do what?
Yes. And turn them to vocational training centers, of course. Yes. Some universities are far better becoming,
like what China is doing.
Yes.
Or has done.
Yes. Are far better becoming, places that one will go to learn skills as cheap as welding. It will be better than what that university, because in the past 10 years, ask them the research they have achieved, there is nothing. Yet you invest so much in professors, in labs, in other things. So I don't blame the government when the government are dragging their feet and they don't want to increase the money of professors. I don't blame them. In what way is that particular are the institutions contributing to the economy of this nation? Let's be very sincere.
Well, but
offering scholarships, offering these things, I feel is waste of money. I know people will hate me for saying this, but that's the truth. Whoever feels he wants a degree or he wants this, that, there should not be subsidy on things like that. People should pay in full. Then you'll realize that people will resolve back into learning skills that will add to the economy of the nation. Most people in China are not university graduates, but China is the most productive nation on earth. And you cannot tell me they are illiterate. They are not illiterate. Another thing we suffer in Africa is I feel we lack continuity. My great-grandfather was a hunter. My grandfather is a farmer. And my father left them, went and studied something different in school. And he came back, he realized it's not paying him out. And he's forcing me to study medicine. And I'll force my child to study something different. But go to China. You realize that in one lineage, they have learned a particular trade. Maybe the great-grandfather started with watch repair. The grandfather invented the lens of wristwatches. And then the son is now trying to design. So there's continuity. There's no way they will do better.
That family.
Yes, they pass on a business from generation to generation. But we don't do it in Africa. There is no succession. One will do a different thing, another person will do a different thing, then another person will come to do a different thing. So in that way, you realize that succeeding in Africa becomes somehow impossible. Now, fluke. The little ones where they excel in Africa are fluke. Now, fluke, because this one will try to do this, then in the near future, you will realize that another person is doing something different. So I feel these are some of the challenges. So I will advise parents, in as much as they can, give your children the wings so that their dreams can fly.
And they can also fly.
Yeah, but don't be in that position where you categorically tell them what you feel was working in your generation. Look, let me borrow the phrase you said the other time. Anyone beyond 85 is in a different world.
Yes.
Is in a different world. And permit me to say, if our parents felt their own parents were, let's say, 50 years behind civilization when they went to university because they felt their own parents were illiterate, in our own era, they are 5 centuries behind civilization. That's 500 years.
Yeah.
So is that serious? So parents, you good guys, you know what? Talking about this generation, just learn from your kids. That's all I would say.
Talking about the government, abracadabra, and institution, like you were saying earlier, I was somewhere and we're having a discussion, and I told somebody, I said, are you aware that the only finished product that we export out of Nigeria is the entertainment industry? The entertainment industry,
Yeah.
Nollywood and Nigerian music industry.
Yeah.
That is the only finished product we export out of Nigeria.
Interesting.
Why? Because we export ginger. Our ginger is the raw ginger we export.
Definitely.
So we take it to China. Chinese people will grind it, dry it, prepare it, make it, prepare it, and then package it as ginger tea in sachets.
Then we buy it.
Bring it back to Nigeria and sell to us. Is it cocoa? Is it rubber? All these things, even our crude oil, we don't refine them except for now. Thank God for Dangote refinery. But all these things, we export them raw.
Then import them back as finished product.
So we don't have anything we export as finished product. Nollywood is the only thing that is the finished product that we manufacture, we design, manufacture, fabricate, and produce here in Nigeria and then export out of this country. Because Nollywood has grown to be the second largest movie industry in the world. Why? Because of our content, and we have that respect. You understand? And I told person, I said, and yet, in spite of the fact that Nollywood is the only finished product that we export out of Nigeria and the entertainment industry, are you aware that our system do not support this industry?
Interesting.
Yes. A popular comedian in Nigeria was on a podcast and he said, are you aware that the Nigerian banks would prefer to give maybe a car dealer a loan of maybe
I think I've watched that.
Yes, 2 billion naira or 1 billion naira to go and import cars, and you pack, maybe he import like 100 pieces of Mercedes-Benz Maybach, pack them, the cars are seated there, he has not sold them. Maybe it will take him 1 year, 6 months before he sells those cars. Meanwhile, the loan is collected from the bank is just sitting there doing nothing. But are you aware that if you give an Asake or a whiskey that 1 billion naira, Asake can just host a 2-day show at the O2 Arena, shut it down, and in that 2 days, that whole money is back with interest. In fact, times 3 of that money is back into the bank account. The bank takes their share, he takes his share, and they go their separate ways. So the institution, or I would just call it the metrics down here in Nigeria, is not designed. I made this post some years ago on my Facebook account. I said, Africa is not built for young people to thrive. Africa is not designed for young people to thrive. Except for those who are now going through entertainment industry, and by the grace of God, with what social media has brought, they've been able to break and go higher.
Yeah, definitely.
You understand? They are now competing at the world center stage.
Definitely.
You understand? Other than that, Africa is not built for people to thrive.
I believe that.
You understand?
I believe that.
Anyway, I want to appreciate you so much, Melafia, for coming on the show. Thank you so very much. It's a very, very short episode today. I'm very, very grateful. I hope to see you next time when I call upon you.
Always available.
So, guys, please, I'm sure you heard it from him that please, high income skill at any time, any day. So, if you are a parent and you're training your child, please be aware that the high income scale is where you should be directing these children to, not the conventional school. Imagine somebody who is going to study zoology right now. How many zoos do we have in Nigeria, even across the world? These things are things that are dying off, right? So please, as a parent, you must understand that what you're seeing in the trend today is not what it's going to be in the next 25 years. Because if we go back 25 years ago will take us back to the year 2000. Now, on the year 2000, there was no social media. There was no Facebook, there was no Instagram as the year 2000, because Facebook was invented around 2004. And even as around 2004, it was just a university something, just within the campus. It wasn't even a national thing in America, let alone a global thing. You understand? So in the next 25 years, what you're seeing today is not what you're going to see. So please put your children in the right place. Put them in a place where even in the next 100 years, they will still matter to the society. What they have upstairs will be needed in the society. From me and the entire crew of the Moneytical School of Money podcast, I want to say thank you, and I'll see you in the next episode. Please drop your comments and let us know what you think about this episode. Obi Crypto, over and out.
Moneytical Podcast, we know they joke. If you want to learn, they make it take your note. Crypto, forex, hustle, we coach. Start that bread, get your money approach.